הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
This Shabbat, as the Holy One reminds us, the land is mine. You are but strangers resident with me. The undeniable responsibility for all of us to be caretakers of the earth echoes. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai taught 2,000 years ago at an age of tumult in the peoplehood of Israel and the world, not that different from today. If the Messiah's coming is announced and you are planting a tree, first plant that tree, water it well, make sure it's fed and solid, and then go greet the Messiah. We cannot wait for a Savior from on high or a messianic age to come. The responsibility is ours now to care for the earth, to reuse, recycle, what are the 4 R's? Reduce, reuse, recycle, repair. It's in our hands. And as the Midrash says, if we don't tend it, there will be no one to take care of it after us.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
As always, we begin with light. Our B'nai Mitzvah, I think moms and their B'nai Mitzvah children, come on up as we kindle these lights of Shabbat. If you want to follow along, page 120 in Mishkan Tefillah, your prayer books. Yeah, come on up, come on up. You guys each get a line.
We got it. No. Oh, yeah, no, that's important.
Hold this 1 second.
I'm like a linebacker. Don't leave the beam up.
Why don't you read right here and then you'll read right here, okay?
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled the light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
You each got a candle.
Flip it.
Here, Adonai,
Eloheinu,
Melech haolam, Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Yes.
Guys, can we look at it? Moms, go sit down. You guys have done well. Okay. You get to get out of here. But step in. Each get a cup. We turn the page and rise for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav beratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziad mitzrayim ki manu v'acharta be'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai b'kadesh hashabbat. Amen.
Okay, that's like it. This rabbi is so confusing. I'll tell you that right now. All right. You guys are wonderful. There you go. Our Kabbalat Shabbat. And you were a little tentative during Hinim Atov, so we have to hear you singing out. It doesn't matter here if you know the words or the song. Just look at me. Just sing with spirit and joy on page
648.
Oh my God. 648.
I know.
That's like a jump. Shir Chadash.
I think you can handle it. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
And the new song is Lachato D, welcoming the Sabbath bride, that radiance of Shabbat presence. I'm going to guess 1, 2, 5, and 9.
You nailed
And
it.
I've been playing that number for weeks, nothing. 1, 2, 5, and now remember the last verse, we actually rise, face the rear, so that we can greet the radiant. Not yet though, last verse, remain calm, Barbara, right? And when we get there, but after you turn back to the front, look around and see the radiance of Shabbat aglow on the faces around you, and take a minute to say hello, greet somebody you don't know, give a hug or a kiss, let them know you're glad they're here.
Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, hishmianu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem ol tiferet v'litila lecha dodi. Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor ha'beracha merosh mikadem nisucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Hitoreri ki va'orek umiori uri shir daberi Kevonai alayik nigla lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom terepala Gam besimcha uvetzola toch emunei am segula Boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela
As we segue seamlessly on page 146, remaining standing for the Baruch Hu. On page 146.
Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai 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 Ya lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai.
Atop 151, together, Ahavat Olam. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Emet. Not in your prayer books, the pathway leading towards redemption. The great piece Tourists by Yehuda Amichai. Once, I was sitting on the steps near David's tower and I put my 2 heavy baskets beside me. A group of tourists stood there with their guide and I became their reference point. You see that man over there with the baskets? A little to the right of his head. To the right, there's an arch from the Roman period. Just a little to the right. But he's moving. He's moving. I said to myself, redemption will only come when those tourists are told, do you see the arch over there from the Roman period? It doesn't matter. But near it, a little to the left and down a bit, there's a man who's just bought fruit and vegetables to take home to his family. Armi Chamocha, on page 158.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Yada da da yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osei felet nora tehilot
Atop 162, our affirmation of the covenant that is Shabbat, Vishamru.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'ni uven b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
Rabbi Chaim Stern reminds us our prayers are not answered when we are given what we ask, but when we're challenged to be what we can be. We rise for our tefillah, page 164.
Adonai, Sifatai tiftach, ufi agid, tehilatecha, Adonai, Sifatai tiftach, ufi agid, tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chaste Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, hatzara. Ata gibor leolam Adonai, mechaye hakol ata rav lehoshia, morid hatal, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim berofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha bal gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalelu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We take a couple of minutes for those prayers that speak from inside, either the prayers on the page or the prayers of your heart, through page 180.
Shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
A little Torah tonight, because why not? It's the second Friday. We like to read Torah every Friday night, but we still get the chance, and so second Friday seemed to be the right time, and the Torah portion is so fitting for this moment. We share together on page 367.
Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Please rise. Al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו. לך אדוני על גדולה ועל יבורה ועל תפארת והנצח והחוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל לראש.
Look at that. Look at that.
What's out? It's out.
Oh, it's out already. I knew that. I didn't. We're going to talk about our portion in connection to why this moment is so crucial and why it's so fitting. But for our Aliyah, Bennett Weinberg, RCVP of Lofty, and various Lofty members who will remain nameless because they're in the Witness Protection Program. Come on up here. Come on up here. Lofty is Larchmont Federation of Temple Youth. They're awesome. Yael is our youth advisor, which is awesome, right? All right, we good? Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec. It's right there. We got it right there. We got it right there. We haven't said we got to find the place. It's TBD. There you go. It's right there. Here we go. Perfect.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. V'tziviti et birchati lachem b'shana hashishit, and I will extend my blessing to you in the 6th year. Ve'asa et hatfuah lishlosh hashanim, making my produce last for 3 years. Uzratem et hashana hashminit, when you plant or sow your seed in the 8th year. Va'achaltem min hatfuah yashan, you'll eat from old produce ad hashana hatshi'it, until the 9th year. Ad bo tvu'ah tochelu yashan, you will eat the old produce all the way through that 9th year. V'ha'aretz lo timacher litzmitut, you shall not sell the land beyond reclaim. Ki li ha'aretz, for the land is mine. Ki gerim v'toshavim atem imadi, for you are strangers, resident with me.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chaye Olam Nata B'tochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. All right, before you leave, put your hand right here in the Eitz Chaim, in this tree of life. Everybody connect to Bennett. Everybody connect to Bennett. Or each other. Awesome, awesome. I'm going to put my hand on yours. Mi sheberach avotenu Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah v'Karachel v'Leah. May the one who blessed our mothers and fathers before us bring blessing upon these dedicated members, leaders of Lofty, and members of my confirmation class, may I add. Larchmont Federation of Temple Youth. As Abraham and Sarah made the journey in search of sacred ground, not ready to rest where their mothers and fathers stopped, so may you follow in their footsteps, daring to forge a future all your own. So may each step hold the promise of awesome discovery, and as God's call of covenant continue to echo through the ages, knowing all of you have heard that call expressed through Temple Youth Group Connection, so may your creative spirit, your vision link you to a place, a youth group, a reason to hang out and do Jewish that helps Larchmont Temple always feel like home. So with God's blessings of health and wholeness, with gratitude for your being part of LARFD, may your youth group belonging always be a celebration of everything that's sacred and Jewishly cool for movie nights, mitzvah kors, and shullins yet to come. And let us all say, amen. Good job, guys. By the way, you guys were especially good. Yeah, you want to do a Hagbah? As you were running by, come on up here. Come on up here. We can do Mishabah after. We should do it before you. It's up to you. No, but
Want to have a conversation about it in front of everybody?
no, we'll do that. We rise in the presence of the sacred scroll. Push down, pull up. Push down. Pull up. It's heavy. But you're all
Vizota Torah Sher Samoshe Livnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai B'yad Moshe. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai.
So did you get that little handout that I was going to use, the handout from, it's a 4-page thing. We're not going to, don't be nervous by the 4-page. There could be some still out there. There could be some, right? It could be, yeah. It's too good of an opportunity not to take advantage and just do a little teaching, because sometimes Torah in this moment in time align. And when they do, it's just a fortuitous coupling that could be even sacred awareness. What is today? It's May 12th, obviously, but it's a day in history. And I can't resist that, because this weekend is so essential and crucial in connection with our peoplehood and state of Israel, especially with everything going on. It's just a highlight for me as somebody who loves Israel and struggles with Israel. And so I share to make sure that you're part of that struggle too. Take a look. Midnight, May 14th, 1948, the provisional government of Israel proclaimed. I'm on the first page with there's a little, the symbol of Israel with the menorah, and it says Yisrael with the little 2 olive branches on the side. The backdrop is that this is the day when the People's Administration convened to vote on declaring independence. For those of us who've been on a Larchmont Temple or other trip to Israel, except in the past 4.5 years, unfortunately, Independence Hall was not open. Browse says, was Independence Hall open? Did we go to Independence Hall? So we went into Independence Hall. When you go into Independence Hall, it was Mayor Dizengoff's home that became Independence Hall, and now a museum. But you sit in the room where it was declared. And you get, Ben Gurion's face is right there, as are all the other people who were signatories on the Declaration. And it's the feeling that something awesome happened, and the echoes are still there. And you don't realize what a moment in time it was where these 13 people, representatives of the Jewish state, voted and declared statehood. Because it was Because since 1947, a year before almost, or 8 months before, there was an ongoing war and skirmishes with at least 2 Arab nations. So take a look on the page. The meeting started at 13:45. What's that in real time? 13:45? 1:45, and ended after midnight. Crazy, right? I don't know how to do that. I got C's in geography, and then geology. What's geometry? Geometry, thank you. Geology. I also got C's in geology. No, I didn't. 6 of the members present supported it. Chaim Weizmann, who was present, was quoted as saying, he was the chair of the World Zionist Organization, "What are they waiting for, the idiots?" Now, I don't know how that translates from the Hebrew, but that's what Weizmann is quoted as having said. They declare statehood 2 days from now, on May 14th, knowing, Ben-Gurion knowing, and the last time I was at Independence Hall, could have been us, there was a Russian Ola. There was a woman who made Aliyah from the former Soviet Union during those years. She was around 60. She came from the same place that Ben-Gurion's family came, the same village in the Soviet Union. And she told the story, I don't know how, but it just brought us to tears, of the courage it took, because they knew as soon as they declared statehood and danced in the streets, within 2 hours, because there was no internet and only radio, maybe 4 hours, attacks would begin. The big question, of course, was what are they going to call the state? So they weren't sure. Look at the bottom. What's the name for the state? So they put out the first page. Eretz Yisrael, Judea, Zion, Siona, Ivriya, Herzliya. They couldn't call it Judea or Zion because they would be outside of the state. Like Jerusalem was barely part of the state. It was a very divided city. Ben-Gurion put forward the name Israel, and it passed by a 6-3 vote. Why is that interesting and very, I think, telling? What does Israel mean? Struggle. It's a wrestling match. Israel is always wrestling. To be a Jewish state is to continue to wrestle with the dream not yet realized. Turn to the second page. This is actually the prelude to Israel's Declaration of Independence. Jews are nothing if not verbose. But this sets the tone, and you can see how they frame the state. They frame the state as coming from the ashes of the Shoah, the Holocaust. Survivors of the Nazi Holocaust in Europe, Jews from other parts of the world continuing to migrate, telling the story, and through the Second World War, of course. The partition plan in 1947, the UN General Assembly approved. And so look at how it's framed, the capital letters at the bottom. By virtue of our natural and historic right, and on the strength of the resolution of the United Nations General Assembly, hereby declare the establishment. So what are they saying? There are 3 foundations of the state: religion, history, and politics, or the political public square that's approved it. The next page, in the blue, is actually the Declaration, right? Right. Where's the Constitution of Israel? There ain't none, right? Which is one of the reasons why it's a challenging thing to do, to rule. So this becomes a founding document and something that is always a touchstone, a foundation stone. Second paragraph. State of Israel will be open for Jewish immigration. It will foster the development of the country for the benefit of all its inhabitants. It will be based on freedom, justice, and peace as envisaged by the prophets of Israel. Israel is to be a prophetic state, meaning it is supposed to have the highest moral and ethical standard. It is supposed to let righteousness and justice flow like a mighty stream. Equality of social and political rights to all the inhabitants, irrespective of religion, race, or sex. Almost ahead of its time. Guaranteeing the freedom of religion, conscience, language, education, and culture. It is clearly a Jewish state that is welcome to all in its founding document. Go to the second to last paragraph. Of course, they're appealing to the Arab inhabitants of the state to preserve peace. We extend our hand to all neighboring states. And by the way, I can hear Ben-Gurion reading this on the recording. And their peoples in an offer of peace and good neighborliness, and appeal to them to establish bonds of cooperation and mutual help, with the sovereign Jewish people settled in its own land, the state of Israel is prepared to do its share in common effort for the advancement of the entire Middle East. Of course, what is the goal of the statehood? Eretz Israel, the task of immigration, upbuilding the land, and standing by in the great struggle for the realization of the age-old dream, the redemption of Israel. So the goal is a state that is the pinnacle or the epitome of justice, truth, equality, and right. There's a lot going on in the state of Israel right now. We are, in the midst of Islamic Jihad rocket fire, which is really because of Israel's retaliation for the killing of those 3 women. It's called Operation Shield and Arrow. The last one was called Bow and Arrow. They're not that creative in their names. We were there, how long ago were we there? Shines, we were there when? We were there in February, right? So, right, I should ask Rabbi Rudin. Rabbi Rudin, when were we there? Right, 41 people from the temple. We took people to the Hafganah, to the demonstration. Why? The demonstration, unlike some demonstrations we've seen in America that take to the streets, the demonstration is the foundation stone of what this document says. We need to have a country which is democratic and just and true. Many Israeli flags at those demonstrations to this day. Over 225,000 people marched in Tel Aviv 2 weeks ago, filled with Israeli flags, and the op-ed that came from there in Haaretz was about how they have claimed the flag as their own. Because they're patriots. They are seeing a right-wing, and I'm not going to say right or left, but it's a right-wing element that's trying to undo the balance of the checks and balances in the government through a legislation that will highly restrict the judiciary. The bottom line is there's an even higher ideal Israel has to remember. All the inhabitants. Look at the last page. I just read it. For the land is mine, capital M. It must not be sold beyond reclaim. You are but strangers resident with me. Right? We are resident aliens in the land. We don't own the land. If you want to buy a piece of land in Israel, can you? Not actually. You lease it from the government for 99 years. So the Ohel Yaakov, an early Hasidic commentator in the 19th century, says the following. The Holy One is saying, the relationship between you and me is always that of strangers and settlers. If you will live in this world as strangers, remembering you are here only temporarily, reflecting that status in the way you live, then I, God, will be a settler in your midst. But if you regard yourselves as settlers, as in permanent possession of the land, my presence to you will be that of a stranger. I don't know how more beautifully, aptly, and pertinent it can be said. We don't own the land. So to fight over territory or the land is of no use. And it's antithetical to what the dream is about. The dream, Herzl's dream, was a land where there was no army because Judaism and Israel would be a blessing to all the inhabitants of the land and the area. We have a lot of work to do. But the dream isn't dead. Of Israel, secure and strong, a place for those Palestinians to live alongside, and it's a real hard sell right now because we have nothing but people's butting heads. But the possibility still exists. Minna.
If as many Americans demonstrated the democratic ideals in our country, you can imagine proportionate to the Israeli population.
Yeah, if you have 7.25 million people and 225,000 demonstrate. I don't know. How many people in America? I have no idea. Yeah, so it would be an absurd, a wonderful number, right? Right? And, yeah.
Carrying America
Yeah.
co-opted. So
Yeah.
some of us are uncomfortable getting there. We should all go and
Yeah.
give our
Yeah.
flag and demonstrate.
Yes, we should. Yes, we should. But in Israel, right, as we were there standing in front of that same menorah, we felt a deep connection. And all of us who've been there feel a deep connection. Our voice matters. You're standing up here, right? Jane, where's Jane? Is Jane still here? Jane left. She went off at breaks. What can you do? No, Jane has been going to the protests in New York City. I think this week maybe, or next week? This Sunday, Rabbi Rick Jacobs of our Union for Reform Judaism is going to be speaking there. Right? Washington Square Park. So if you have any desire, your voice echoes. Israel needs our voice. Rabbi Josh Weinberg, president of ARTSA in Jerusalem, wrote this beautiful piece. I end with this. While we pray for peace and quiet, we must also internalize the notion that these protests now closing their 19th week are not just about keeping or changing the rules of the game within the system. This is a struggle to define the character of the Jewish state in the most fundamental way. We must state loudly and clearly that we want an Israel to be enlightened, progressive, liberal, egalitarian, a nation open to the world, not separatist, religiously coercive, dark, and insular, and exist as a nation that dwells alone. We have a lot of work to do, but we're in it together. We rise, opening our hearts, praying for those who face a future not fully whole. Our Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Misha Berach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Misha Berach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Misha Berach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer. Here we go. Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. And bless us as well.
We especially pray for blessing and healing for Nancy Hanley, Marlo Wiggins, Dick Stone, Hannah Stampleman, Enid Elton, Jody Kahn, Stanley Tereski, Bob Glassman, Andy Rosenthal, Sandy Warshaw, Paul Wiggins, Joseph Spinelli, Samuel Philip Lear, Pat Ryan, Jerry Gallner, Ian Spear, Julie Ross, Megan Kearney Bailey, Dan Zimmerman, Tyler Grad, Alan Grad, Joanne Tobin, Evelyn Silberg, Gabby Zatoun, Robert Scher, Renee Leopold, Judah Luria, Ben Myers, Joel Brill, Josh Olean, Drew Olean, Brad Dembski, Barry Fenner, Gabriel Morse, Matt Cleary, Gene Cott, and my son Aaron. Would anyone here add a name in hopes of healing?
Bless us with the power of your vision. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi sheberach avotenu, mi sheberach imotenu. Hear our prayer, 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 and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
We remain standing as we return toward to the ark. I'm going to have the shines come on up. Be my schleppers. Shines, come on up. No, I know they're next week's being mitzvah. No, they're on deck. I know. This is, come on. Get in the mode. Come on.
Eitz Chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tom cheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadish chadish yameinu chadish yameinu kekedem.
On 586, Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, la'tekedu la'liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, ve'lo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
Knowing that we lost a great sage of life, death, hope, truth, Rabbi Harold Kushner, just last week or a week and a half ago. Was it last week? I think it was a week and a half ago. I couldn't resist but rereading part of his book on the 23rd Psalm. He has many, many books. But this book is a favorite. Each verse of the 23rd Psalm is a chapter. Here's what he writes about, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just a snippet. Like many therapists, I've had occasion to ask a grieving spouse or a parent, had you been the one to pass away, to die first, what advice would you have left for your loved one? How would you have wanted them to spend the rest of their lives? The answer has almost always been, I would have wanted them to miss me, but I would have told them to live as fully as possible as a tribute to the life we shared. I follow that up with the obvious suggestion that they follow the advice themselves. That is why the Jewish calendar asks us to pause 5 times a year on 4 of the holiday seasons and the anniversary of a death to remember those whom we have lost and loved. It's a way of giving us permission to go on with our lives without having to fear that we will forget, that we will leave precious but painful memories behind. I urge people to see that the same love that makes the death of a person hurt so much is the love that should inspire us to keep walking through the valley in tribute to the power and holiness of life, even in the face of death. This Shabbat, we remember those whose yortzites are observed in our congregational family of Lillian Parter, Marla Sands, Arthur Fisher, Torin Molarabi, Melvin N. Borden, Samuel D. Sherrod, Marie Landau, Phyllis Berman, Ben Kaplan, Henry Lieberman, Lisa Hirschman, Geraldine Lewis, Mel Merians, past chair of our movement, Julian Turk, Barbara Levine, Ruth Plofsky Barish, Jesse Hirsch, Bert Israel, Saul Wassung, Louis Easton, Doris Shapiro, Jack Brous, Esther Bernstein, Julian Kahn, Bertha Gordon, Bunny Mitchnick, Natalie Hamburg, Bertha Gordon, Manuel Lashinsky, Tzvi Martin Lefkovich, Erwin Ryder, Peter Scott Haig, Jewel Bergen, Ethel Rich, Rosalind Mann, Nancy Kraut, Alan Shapiro, Shirley Haar, Hugo Kirschbaum, Ann William Graves, Francis Gordon, Mickey Severin, Erna Bing, Pearl Lichter, Samuel Goldman, Harry Adams, Louise Jean Gardner, Claire Diamond Kaplan, Maurice H. Bernstein, Franklin Marks, and John Kaufman. Anyone here add a name in sacred remembrance? To those we link the names of 9 who recently in the past 30 days have been laid to their eternal rest. Joseph Belial, brother of Chris, along with Beth. Joseph Samuel Lorenzen, grandson of Roz Weinstein, son of Laura and Mark, brother of Lily. Amy Liebesman, wife of David Abramson, mother of Simon and Jillian, daughter of Sandy, sister of Jody and Gary. Stephen Stampleman, brother of Jed. Paulette Blaufox, wife of Dawn, mother of Lori, Elle, and Andrew. Richard Friedland, husband of Joyce, father of Eric and Rob, grandfather of Madeline, Max, Matthew, and Rachel. Micah Fierstein, brother of Bram. Robert Stewart Fawcett, husband of Julie, father of Rachel Berkson, Robert and Jennifer, grandfather of Annabelle, Seth, Elizabeth, Matilda, and Melody. And Philip A. Tuttle, husband of Dr. Joan Bull, father of Courtney, and Ashley Garza, grandfather of Cameron, Caitlin, Alexis, and Bennett, and of course, Rabbi Harold Kushner. We rise together in praise of the gift of memory and love that remains on 598, Words of Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach herutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomeichon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivorach, le'olam u'lomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'ami run be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be our blessing. Amen. Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Steve Lehman, Executive Vice President of the Board of Trustees, and on behalf of the board, I want to welcome everybody here with us tonight, here in person and joining us over in TV land. It's really a pleasure to have you all. I want to thank, as always, our clergy for a wonderful, wonderful service. A Kabbalat Shabbat always with that extra musical flair. So I want to thank our musicians, too, who bring our musical flair in there, and really appreciate that. I especially wanted to thank our Larfty leadership in absentia. But it's Friday night. I mean, you can't expect them to stay the whole service. Come on, they're teens. But it's such an important part of the temple. My kids all were involved with Larfty, and it's a great way to stay involved and stay engaged. And it's really lovely to see so many people here taking a leadership role and keeping Jewish engagement, going on through high school and beyond. So thanks to them. Of course, a mazel tov in advance, a pre-mazel tov, or maybe a warm-up mazel tov to Emily and to Eli. We're very excited to hear you tomorrow, hear your teachings, and hear you chant Torah. We know you're going to do a great, great job, and it's going to be a wonderful day, and you're getting great weather. It's summer. Summer just came all of a sudden, out of nowhere. A few announcements, things coming up. Next Saturday, the 20th, from 3 to 5 p.m., the Social Action Committee is doing the kids party for the Coachman kids and family at LT. That's a really important event. It's a great outreach. It's a way to help families in need and just let them find some joy and kind of some festivity and support them. They still need 5 or 6 volunteers. So please, if you're at all interested, it's a great way to be involved, great thing to do with your family. Information in the bulletin and on the website. Reach out to the people that are organizing it. 2 weeks from now-ish, Shavuot is coming, a Shavuot service, and the confirmation for our confirmation class. Also a great way of staying involved Jewishly as you go through high school. That'll be Thursday the 25th, 7 o'clock for the evening service with the confirmation. And if Shavuot and confirmation weren't draw enough, there's a make-your-own Sunday party afterwards. So a little something for everybody coming there. And then on Friday, 9 a.m., there'll be Yizkor service. And at 10:30 a.m., a young family Shavuot service in the garden room. So a way for everybody to participate. And then the last thing that caught my eye is the Learn to Blow Shofar class. So anybody who wants to make a lot of noise, this is a chance to do it. June 1st, Thursday, from 5:30 to 6:30 in the Jacobson Family Chapel downstairs. And that's something you can RSVP for by going to the website. So lots of ways to stay involved. Hope to see you all next week and beyond. And Shabbat Shalom. Have a wonderful weekend.
I was told to stick to Kol Nidre instead of blowing shofar. It wasn't pretty. In honor of this anniversary of the Declaration of Independence of the State of Israel, we turn to the words of Adon Olam, but let's see if you can figure out the melody. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra leid nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shmo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yiyeh b'tifara Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra leid nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shmo nikra Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra leid nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shmo nikra ve'hu echad ve'en sheni lehamshilo
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
That's cool.